So let's rewind to 2008, 2009 when the economy literally fell off a cliff. GM and Chrysler, they were not doing very well, so much so that they were put into a prepackaged bankruptcy, and Chrysler ultimately got sold to Fiat. And Fiat said, we're going to do better than Daimler. The first car that came out that was blessed by Fiat was the Grand Cherokee. And believe it or not, here we are in 2013, and we're already looking at an updated Grand Cherokee. While I wouldn't call this a completely new car, I mean, it's only 2 years old in design. What they've done is they overhauled it. And there are three things that really stand out. Number one, the interior bits. Basically, the overall quality of the interior is much better. Number two is the 8-speed transmission. That's more of a fuel economy thing. And number three, it's got to be the diesel. So I spent some time talking to the head of interior design, Klaus. Amazing guy, comes from Germany, has had some amazing experience in the industry. And really what he spent time doing was looking at the coloring. And the inspiration doesn't come from, well, look what this guy is doing or look what New York Fashion Week is doing. It's, let's look at nature. Let's see what we get from nature. So they looked at things like the Grand Canyon and said, what are some of the coloring we're getting from the Grand Canyon? And that's what they did. If you look at one of these cars, you can get a wood package in here where the wood is of a lighter tone and the trim is copper. And while we're on the wood, I've been in so many cars lately where you don't know if it's wood. I mean, even that Rolls Royce we were driving, that car, I mean, had stunning wood, but it was so glossy you didn't get to feel it. Here, you actually kind of feel that it's somewhat porous, like it's natural wood. Then there's the transmission, 8 speeds. This is something I'm seeing a lot in most Chryslers. Now we're starting to get it in Jeeps. And really the story there is it's all about fuel economy. That's what those extra 2 gears give you. But what's interesting, and I want to make this point, they're still going with gears. They could have done CVT to get fuel economy, but instead, they decided to go with gears. Thank you very much, Auburn Hills. Hint, hint. So when you buy a diesel, it's usually just about fuel economy, and that's the whole story. Here, there's more than just fuel economy. It's fuel economy, it's towing, it's residual value, and for me, it's fun to drive. So the diesel does 30 mpg on the highway. As a basis of comparison, the HEMI will do 22. Now, you really can't say, yippee-ki-yay, I get 8 mpg more, so I'm gonna go out and buy the diesel and save all this money. That's really not the case because you've got to spend the money to get the diesel. It's $4,500. And then there's the whole thing about the equation of how much does diesel cost in the US at least. There's no guarantee that diesel is cheaper. Sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's not. As a matter of fact, right now it's a lot more than unleaded. That's why you have to look at the whole equation. So let's go back to torque and towing. The diesel will tow 7,400 pounds. The HEMI will tow 7,400 pounds. The diesel has 420 pound-feet of torque, so you actually get more torque here than you do in the HEMI. Then there's real world, and granted, I'm not giving you the best example here as I'm driving through a sand river, but we're still gonna try. Most people are gonna buy something like this for towing, really all about towing. So if you have a horse trailer, a boat trailer, a toy trailer, you're gonna use either the HEMI or you're gonna get this. So what happens in that scenario? You generally have your fuel economy. So forget about that 22 on the highway. You're looking at 11. That doesn't happen with a diesel. Instead of 30, you might get 20. So there's a humongous difference when you start using the diesel in the real world, and that's when the investment gets paid back. Then, let's be honest. Look at the paper, go on Craigslist, wherever you want to go, and spend some time looking for a used, I'll say, Audi Q7 or a used Mercedes ML with a diesel engine. A, they're hard to find, and B, they sell for much more than the gasoline counterpart. So yes, you're going to pay more for the diesel. Yes, the price fluctuates, at least in the US, the price does fluctuate, so you're not guaranteed that it's going to be cheaper to operate than a gasoline-powered version of the same car. But in the overall grand scheme of things, for my money, you're going to get something that's more fun to drive. And number two, at the end of the day, when you go to sell it, you're actually going to get more money back on the vehicle. Then there's my reasoning, and I'm not just saying that because I'm drifting in a sand river. The diesel with the extra torque is just so much more fun to drive. I am literally looking down. Look at the horizon, and I'm looking down. Just think of the angle here, and I'm in a $50,000 baby buggy. I mean, I can't believe the trust that Chrysler has in us to take these things crawling on rocks. I mean, this is a $50,000 car, man. Come on, guys. So I like the diesel. You're HEMI kind of gals. It's a whole new world. 30 mpg. Fine. I'll have chicken tonight.